Well,
We did it, Greg. We did it.
all right, everybody out there. We are sorry. I should say, I am sorry. Uh, Zoom forced an update just as we were getting ready to go on
Isn't
the
that
air,
always the case?
and when the update ran, it changed the audio settings, and I had to reconfigure everything. I'm terribly sorry, but here we are. We
Here
did
we
it.
are. Little
Um,
late, but still here. We're good to go.
we
We're ready
will.
to talk birds. Welcome, 2026, off to an auspicious
Welcome,
start.
welcome. Holy mackerel!
I've enjoyed following along with all the YouTube comments. Apparently, they let you all comment before we come on. So
Yeah.
a lot of great stuff about people have seen. We got John Anderson who saw the taiga flycatcher in Vancouver.
Oh, fantastic.
We got Dennis Parslow who saw the red flanked bluetail in Virginia. It's been quite a week for rare East Asian vagrants in places
Yeah,
that are
well,
not
and
Alaska.
European vagrants. We got a European robin in
European
Montreal
robin today. Yeah,
today.
fourth,
Well, the
fifth,
last couple
I
of
don't
days.
know.
Yeah.
It's hard to know what that bird is. I
What do
was
you mean?
surprised to see there were a ton of European robin records in like the Azores and Iceland. So
Yeah.
it doesn't immediately seem like a bird that would show up in North America, but man, it comes North America adjacent pretty regularly. So maybe we should be looking for it more.
Ship happens.
Ship happens. Oh, you're gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go there. I mean,
Ah, come on.
there are
I
two.
mean, we
in
could
Florida,
do
for goodness
we
sake.
could do a whole show on ship assisted birds.
Potentially ship assisted. Hello, everybody. Hello, Mia.
Hello, everybody. Hi,
McPherson on,
Mia.
Chris
Yeah, so
Ortega,
very quickly,
Tina,
we'll keep the
Mr.
vamping
Genius,
to a minimum here
Gavin
because
Allvine,
we're
Dennis
running late.
Parslow, Mr. Rick Wright.
Hey, Rick.
Not that Rick Wright, different Rick.
Oh,
I don't think. But not the Pink Floyd member either.
yeah.
Donna S from Connecticut, Mara Berry from Wisconsin. Hello, everybody. Thanks for bearing with us. We really
Hi.
appreciate
Yes,
it.
thanks for bearing with us. Small, well, not so small, but overcome technical difficulty. Just a very quick synopsis of what we do here. We have a Facebook group
Yeah.
called What's
should do
This
that.
Bird? And every couple of weeks, I run through the group and I find birds, pictures of birds there that are being discussed that I think we want to discuss a little bit more or have some seasonal relevancy.
It's a wonderful
and,
community.
or
Wonderful
whatever
community for
it
getting
is.
your birds
It is.
identified.
And
about
we
birds and
talk
birding.
about those here. Hi, Len on Facebook.
Munoz with his new yellow chevroned parakeet. Love a yellow
right on.
chevron. It's
So
the
I
best
think,
color for chevrons, in my opinion.
I think maybe it's time
It
we
is
just
that
jump
Rick
straight
Wright.
into the. It is that Rick Wright. I was going to say that.
You're
how
in
many
North
Rick
Carolina,
Wrights?
Rick? Oh, all right. Well, good to
Guy
see you.
gets
Glad you're
around.
here.
I
In
mean,
my
when
backyard. Yeah.
when he's not leading wine and
I think
bird
you may have
tours
sent
in
me an email
Europe,
about that, and I
he's all
forgot
over the
to respond to
place.
that because I'm a jerk and got busy. I apologize for that, Rick.
Um, how about if we just jump right into the birds now, since we're running a little bit late?
Yeah, why not?
Does that-
I got news, Greg. It's
Oh,
been
oh.
quite a period. I went to Puerto Rico. I saw some endemics. It was awesome. I had
Oh,
thoughts
fantastic.
about Puerto Rico. Both impressed by the fact that so many of the endemics are so easy to find, and a little disappointed there's not a ton of other birds out there. Like the birding was a little bit difficult, but the endemics were not hard to find. I got almost all of them, and I wasn't really working that
Oh,
hard.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did nothing but host a lot of gatherings here and a New Year's party and did not get COVID. So I'm
God.
happy about that.
What was your first bird of 2026, Greg?
Oh, house sparrow, of course.
Oh, mine was red-bellied woodpecker.
Oh, that's
A little
awesome.
bit of a late riser, and I went out to
Yeah.
take the dog out in the back and heard one calling, so it was nice.
Yeah, right outside the
first one for
bedroom
me.
window is a little birch tree that is full of house sparrows every morning.
Hard
so
to miss them, yeah.
every morning in the dark, first thing I hear is house sparrows every day of the year.
Well, share all y'all's first birds of 2026 in the comments. We'll shout them out as we go on. Greg, let's talk about some
Yes.
birds. Carolina Wren.
Let's-
We already got one for Carolina Wren. Gray horned
Right
owl.
on.
Sarah Coffee. That's a good one.
That is a good one. All right, let's
they're
jump
loud
into
right
our
now.
first bird. Let's jump into our first bird here.
Yeah, let's talk birds.
Okay, so this one is from Franktown, Colorado. And
Not the hometown of our own Frank Izagari.
no, it is
So
not.
it could be.
It might be, but I
Black
doubt it.
Phoebe
I think
Crow.
we know where he comes from.
He's from
Um,
Pittsburgh.
yeah, he
Oh, he's from
is.
Miami.
And
Pittsburgh by Miami.
Jeremiah on Facebook had a yellow-bellied sapsucker as their first bird of the year. Michael had
Nice.
a California scrub jay.
Lori Conrad had a green-tailed towhee. Jenny Duberstein. Hey, Jenny. Flock of European starlings. Angela Gerard had a crow. Chris Ortega, Black Phoebe. Donna S., Dark-eyed Junco. That was my guess. Norbird, common wood pigeon. Eric, Northern Cardinal. Bald eagle from Barbara Almario. Good one. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a first bird of the year.
Okay. So,
Greg, I
we've
feel like
got-
we did this earlier this week.
We come on. Give me a break. It's my job.
Yep.
We got a passerine on the ground.
It's streaky. It's got long wings. It's got a really cool face pattern. Kind of a pale eyebrow. It looks like it's got a little bit of a mask almost, a line that goes through the eye, a big
it's
black
got some-
mark
it's
like
got
those
some
football players when
mascara.
they put eye black on. Yeah.
Yeah, or a peregrine falcon.
Yeah.
Has the same kind of an eye mark. And
For
yeah,
glare,
I mean, I
things on
think
glare.
really, the birds on the ground in the middle of winter in Colorado, there's not a whole lot of choices.
Yeah, I mean anything that's kind of small and streaky. Sparrows, obviously, on the list. Though you're hard pressed to find a sparrow that has wings as long as this bird. Those are some serious primaries sticking out the back, even though we can't even see the end of them. Pipits are generally streakier, especially in the face. Less of a face pattern there. Not much going on. What else?
Yeah,
Long spurs. Long spurs.
We
are
have some more.
possibilities.
We have some more weirdness happening. So hang on just a second. I may have to. I'm going to put us back to the two of us talking because the slideshow has stopped now. But that'll take me just a second to rectify. So just
Okay. We'll go. We'll read some more people's first birds of the year. Susan Nelson, Carolina Chickadee. That was my second bird of the year for what it's worth. Teddy B, Bullock's Oriole, American Barn Owls, DJSNSD. That's a good one. Goldfinch first. Apparently not American goldfinch. Well, you got two other options there. Maybe lesser goldfinch if you're out west. I'd be shocked if your first bird of the year was Lawrence's goldfinch. That'd be a heck of a first bird of the year. Baltimore
All right.
Oriole in Charleston for R. Hayes. Yeah, good one. Pacific Wren for Quincy Thayer. Another good bird. We got it fixed. We solved.
I think.
Looks good to me.
Is it coming through? No, it's not. Hang on just another second here.
I see it.
There.
Oh, okay. We are going to consider some pipits, some long
gonna
spurs,
consider-
and some sparrows.
Yes. Because those are all things that are on the ground in Colorado in the wintertime. And
Indeed.
so, I mean, looking at our mystery bird, which I am going to guess for a bunch of people is not a mystery.
Especially if you saw our reveal earlier this week.
Exactly. We look at the bird on the first bird there to the right of the mystery bird. That is a Lapland longspur, and though it
Good
has
option
black,
for a bird on the ground.
yeah, it has black in the face, kind of in the wrong place.
Around the ear.
And and longspur, even though it's got some black on the chest and stuff, the Lapland longspur has that big kind of rufous wing patch.
Exactly.
That's pretty darn noticeable. Mia says it's not a mystery at all. And she is right. We can rule out Vesper Sparrow based on all the stuff going on in the face. We can also rule out American Pipit for the same reason. And that leaves...
It leaves the ABA's 2026 bird of the year. Oh, we got a fancy one.
I had to cut that down.
Hola.
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 Wow, everything has just blown up here. So what's happening
Everything's
is
coming up, horned lark.
all of the settings that I had set before this show were killed when we went live. So
Like
hopefully,
Y2K, Y2,
boy,
Y26K.
this is crazy. But I think we got it fixed. Yes, the ABA 2026 Bird of the Year is horned lark.
What a bird.
And it is a great bird. And there you can see the cover of Birding Magazine, which should be hitting people's mailboxes very soon.
Very soon.
And the digital version for our digital members will be up soon. You had Christina Kanowski, the artist who did that wonderful painting on the cover of the magazine on the podcast.
That's out now.
Yes, that is out now. And there is a short article, which if you've paid attention to our Birds of the Year over the years, you know that those articles tend to grow over the course of the year as we add more information and things. So there will be coming up a coloring page and word search and some other fun stuff relating to horned lark. So yes, 2026 is the year of the horned lark. You can get to all of that at aba.org, right there on the homepage.
Do you know there's only one state / province / territory where horned lark has not been recorded in the ABA area, the entire ABA area? It's Hawaii.
It's got to be. I was just going to say, I was running down the list really quick. It's got to be Hawaii. Yeah.
Every other one, though. That's cool. I think it might be our first bird that's like that. Although we have had some wide-ranging ones. I'd have to look.
Okay. All right. Now
Let's talk about
we got our fun business out of the way.
Only 20 minutes
This one comes from Hey,
I'll be
you know what?
fair,
20 minutes.
Greg, I have not even looked at any of these because we have so many technical issues. I have not. I am going into this completely cold.
Hey, you know what though? 20 minutes in, we're actually running on schedule according to our usual.
That may be true.
But this one also comes from Colorado.
Says Gavin Alvine for horned lark. I think there are some counties in southern Florida where horned lark is extremely rare and may or may not be recorded. I'd have to go check. They probably have been recorded, but there are probably very few records.
Yeah, I think once you get south of the Panhandle, horned lark is virtually
they're scarce,
non-existent. Okay, so we're going to stay in Colorado for this bird. Boy, we really can't see a whole lot. The picture on the left, Greg. We can't see any. We see the bird has a head, but we can't see a bill. It's facing us.
It's got legs, too.
It's got legs.
It's got wings sticking out the side.
It knows how to use them. And on the picture on the right, the bird is preening its back. It's overall kind of blackish, slate colored.
It is really, really black. Kind of a unique shade of black, ashy, gray.
Charcoal.
Kind of. Yeah, there's not a lot of birds that are like that. We have a lot of dark birds and even a lot of black birds. But this bird is lacking kind of iridescence, so we sort of rule out a lot of our grackles and blackbirds that are black, but they tend to be shiny. This bird does not look super shiny.
And the pink legs rules out pretty much, well, not pretty much, all of those as well. Yep. So the icterids have gray or black legs. So I think most people can probably figure out what this is, but we'll run through it.
I would like to see it moving, Greg.
Well, yes, if it was moving, you'd know what it is immediately. But so we'll run through the birds that it could be. Starting with gray catbird, it is not a gray catbird because again, it has
wrong gray. Yeah,
it's the wrong gray, but it has those pink legs. Mm-hmm. The other two birds that are
I think I would be hard pressed to see any photo of gray catbird where I would see absolutely zero sign of that tail. It's got a big, long tail,
it does.
And it likes to whip that thing around. So I would think that even if I were looking at that bird straight on, there would be a tail peeking out the side a little bit.
You could see this bird's tail peeking up the back there, but it's short.
Not much of it. Not much of it.
Right. Dark-eyed junco has a white belly and doesn't have those long legs. So it's pretty straight up here, an American dipper.
Water wozel.
Yes, but I included this knowing it's quite easy. The habitat gives it away. If you've ever seen one or seen a video of one. But I included it for two reasons. One, we've never had a dipper. on this program.
It's not a bird
But
that people get confused by. Usually, when you
but
see a dipper, you know it's a dipper because they're dipping. That helps.
yeah, but
And
two,
they're so unique.
and this the uniqueness is part of why I brought this one
Such
up.
a cool bird.
It is
One
in the
of the
picture
great birds of North America.
in the upper left, where the bird is uh, in habitat. Obviously, the habitat gives a very strong clue. The way it's got
Like
its
rushing
wings
water.
partially
Yep.
open is another really strong clue, because they open their wings a little bit and they bounce. The bird appears to be shaking its head,
Yeah,
and
probably
which
just
they
came
do
up.
when they come out of the
Yeah.
water, and so the bill is blurred, which is why we can't see it. But we see that white spot on its face, and
Yes. Oh, is that the eye?
that is a dipper's eyelid.
Yeah, I couldn't tell whether it was the
They
eye or maybe like the reflection of the bill because
no,
it got that kind
it's
of
not the eye.
orangish base. Yeah.
It's not the eye. It's the eyelid, and you can see in that lower dipper on the right in the comp,
Nictating membrane.
the nictating membrane is well, it's actually not the nictating membrane. It's the actual eyelid.
So it's not
the,
dictating.
No,
It's
the actual
nictated.
eyelid is bright white, and they flash those eyelids when they're just foraging about. It's really wild looking when you see them. I lived many years ago. I lived in Colorado in a tiny little town in Pitkin County, and up around 7,000 feet. And dipper and black-billed magpie were the two most common birds, and I got to see dippers every day.
Yeah.
And just loved it. Just loved it.
That's fantastic. I live in the east and have always lived well in the south central part of the U.S. and then in the southeast, and I don't get to see dipper all that often, and I am struggling to think of a experience with a dipper that isn't like one of the most memorable birding experiences I've
It
ever
is.
had. Just because like you're always in like an amazing place and just incredibly scenic, and dippers are so cool and weird. I remember seeing one in Costa Rica too. A lot of people don't realize they get all the way down
Oh yeah.
into Central America. So seeing a dipper on a Costa Rica rainforest waterway is pretty pretty amazing as well.
Yes. Okay.
Great song
Michael
too,
Sanders
by the
says
way.
it
Yep.
doesn't just use those wings for flying. I'm kind of paraphrasing. And yes, they use those wings for swimming, which is when you see them coming out of the water while they kind of have them up, their shoulders
a
up, and they're
mirror.
kind of shaken off. They use their wings kind of the same way that auklets
Yep.
and puffins do. And yes, they do have a great song. And that was one thing that was really wonderful. I lived right on the Crystal River in Redstone, Colorado, and every day from March till the end of summer, there's a dipper singing outside my front door. It was wonderful. Anyways, so our mystery bird is American dipper, and one of the coolest birds in North America.
Do it for the dipper.
Yeah. Okay, now we are going to go to Florida.
Another fun one.
And we've got a little passerine here,
Indeed.
and yellow.
Yeah, it's largely yellow.
Yeah.
It's got thin little skinny, toothpick legs. It's got
Yep.
a very thin bill. It's got a reasonably substantial tail, though it's kind of obscured because there's a rock immediately behind it.
Yep.
It's a warbler. I mean,
Yep.
it's most of our kind of yellowish passerines are warblers. We have
Yep.
a lot of yellow warblers, including yellow warbler, which I guess
Northern
now is
yellow
American
warbler,
yellow
my
warbler.
friend.
Northern yellow warbler. Oh my God! So I can't make that joke anymore.
Get it straight. That's our job.
Yeah, so let's see. When we're talking about warblers that are largely yellow, obviously American yellow warbler is on that list. There's a number of largely yellow warblers that I think I'm trying to predict exactly what's going to be on your comp that you're going to show here next, Greg. I'm going to guess that you're going to have American yellow. I think you're going to
You
have
mean northern yellow?
northern. Oh my God. I think there was
American
some-
herring gull.
I think there was some
American
taxonomy that
goshawk,
called it American
northern
yellow.
yellow.
Okay,
It
maybe
might.
I'm getting it mixed up. I bet you're gonna have hooded warbler. I bet you're gonna have Wilson's warbler, and I bet you're gonna have I don't know prothonotary maybe. Maybe not. I wouldn't think prothonotary is pretty unique.
Yeah.
But those three definitely. I think you got those three definitely. Let's see if I'm
All
right.
right, let's see how you did.
Orange Crown. Forgot that one. But yes, that's another good one.
Yes. Um,
Oh, so you're
so,
giving me all this nonsense about Northern Yellow, but you didn't put it on your comp there, Greg.
oh, good gravy, I didn't.
How do we know that's not a mangrove yellow warbler?
We don't. Um, um, yeah, well, there you go. So
This is one of
I
our
think
lesser technical issues for
I
this week's
think
episode.
we can rule out orange crowned warbler right away,
Agreed.
for a lot of reasons. The eye arcs and the face pattern and the bill shape, and just the overall color just doesn't fit. So
Agree.
that
They
leaves
also
us.
like in the shape of the body are quite different as well.
Yeah,
When I think of the
it's
Wilson's
got a
warbler and
shorter
especially hooded
tail.
warbler, yeah, it's the former genus Wilsonia. It's not anymore. It's Cetophaga, but they are kind of short-bodied, long-tailed warblers. Whereas I think of orange-crowned warblers kind of being a long-body, short-tailed warbler. I don't know if the body's really any longer, but the tail's definitely shorter. And they tend to have eye arcs that are quite clear, so there's some dark
Yeah,
feathers in the face as well. Whereas this one is just all kind of in your face, bright yellow, big ol' eye. Definitely not orange crown for sure.
yeah. So continuing clockwise, yellow warbler. This bird doesn't look yellow enough for a yellow warbler, but
Agreed.
having said that, they're extremely variable, especially in first year plumages, and they can be anything from gray to bright yellow,
Hmm.
and green.
Yeah, they can be quite gray,
The
can't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they can be, and the things that kind of stand out, or I should say, are consistent. One is some kind of an eye ring.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Two, yellow fringing on the wing feathers and the tail feathers,
Yeah, all the flight feathers.
and
Yep.
and so we don't see any of those things on the bird in the upper left there. So I think we can rule out yellow warbler of any variety.
Agreed.
So now we're left with Wilson's and Hooded, and those two can be tougher than you might think in
Hmm.
first year female immature plumages. Um,
Yeah, they're
but
both
they're
shaped quite similarly.
the head patterns,
Hmm.
the shape, the
Long
habitat,
tail.
the
They like
habits,
to droop their wings a little
they're
bit. Yeah, they're
very similar, very
slitty.
similar.
Usually stay low. Yeah,
Yep.
they're quite similar. Hmm.
But there is one thing that is slam dunk with these two, and that's the tail, as it is with
Yep.
so many warblers. And hooded warbler has bold white markings on the three outer tail feathers,
Yeah,
and it's very flamboyant when it's bouncing
they will
around.
show
It
them to you.
flips that
Yep,
tail open, and if
it
you
will
see
show
a
them.
hooded
Yep.
warbler in any plumage for more than a few seconds, it'll show you that white in the tail.
Hmm.
Wilson's warbler lacks that completely. And in this bird, we can see the outer tail feather on the right side, of our viewing, on the
Yep.
bird's left side. And there is no white there at all. Plus, the face pattern hits it better for Wilson's than it does
Yeah,
for hooded.
Wilson's definitely tends to have that kind of big, bright, open face, right?
Yes.
No eye ring, not much of anything. It's just
No.
yellow, like yellow in your face. A lot of times with a little bit of dark around the cap, and you can see that in that bird. Though that's not like a slam dunk sort of
Yeah,
field
and
mark
it
because hooded can show a little bit of dark feathering on the crown
oh,
as well.
absolutely.
Usually not in the same places, but a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it shows enough to be very confusing, and both of
Yeah,
them can show
yeah.
a yellow supercilium. Both of them have fairly open faces,
Hmm.
big eyes, open faces. Uh, Wilson's more so than Hooded, but
Yeah,
the
agreed.
the tail, and the way it flaunts that tail,
Hmm.
and flashes that tail is the slam dunk mark for Hooded warbler.
And
So
generally speaking, if we're talking status and distribution, the Wilson's warbler I, is more of an overwintering bird in the southeast. I've certainly seen more in the winter
yeah,
than hooded warbler, which is usually gone to Central America by this point. But there are a handful of Wilson's warblers that will stick it out. In fact,
the Gulf Coast. So yeah, they do stick around, but not anywhere near the numbers that
Yeah,
Wilson's warblers do.
yeah, it's not an
Um,
uncommon CBC warbler.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Sorry for the lag, folks. I
Now,
noticed that. I hope you didn't miss any of our scintillating Wilson's warblers versus hooded warbler conversation. But we should be good now. Should be good now. Not sure what happened there, but
I think Facebook is just being persnickety. Was
it's
it happening
everywhere. It
on
was
YouTube
Caster.
too?
It was coming
Oh,
straight from the source.
huh. All
Go
right.
figure. It's that
Well,
kind of day.
it is that kind of day. The gremlins are out in force
Yeah,
today. So Little Rock, Arkansas, and this is one of many people's favorite birds. And Nate and I did not get a chance to discuss this program that I put together at all, so he has no idea what's coming here.
Are we gonna talk? We're gonna talk
and
Junco subspecies, Greg.
we are going to talk Junco subspecies. So the person who posted this asked if it was possibly an Oregon subspecies of dark-headed Junco. And well, I think maybe we can come back to that in a second, but actually no. I do
Yeah,
not think.
I think that's the conversation. I mean, we can talk about
Well,
why this is
yes.
dark-eyed Junco. Little sparrow with a hood and a pink bill and a white belly. Dark-eyed Junco. Those are the sort of the common characteristics of dark-eyed Junco.
Yes.
There are lots of subspecies found from coast to coast, from our kind of slate-colored Juncos in the east, which are kind of all gray throughout the back and the sides and the wing. Sometimes they have a little pinkish on the sides, a little bit.
Sometimes.
And then we've got these Oregon Juncos out west, which tend to be, kind of almost tricolored. They've got that dark head and kind of
All right.
paler
So
on the back, and then with
I'm going to
with
cut
white
you
belly.
off right there.
Yes, yes, but there's what I mean to say is that there's a bunch of Juncos in between that
Oh,
are
we're going to
found
go
in the
there.
big middle of the continent.
We're
that
going to
make
go
things
there.
rather confusing.
We are definitely going to go there.
Go there.
But
Go there.
talking about this bird in particular, I think the way that the hood, that gray hood, the bird is mostly brown with sort of a gray hood, but the hood is really not very well defined at all. We can see brown creeping up the back, creeping around the sides of the neck and into the face. And we also see some gray feathering coming in the scapulars. And if this was an Oregon Junco, that hood would be better defined, and we wouldn't see that gray creeping down. It would be going away rather than coming in. But as Nate said, and the reason I picked this is because there's a lot of Juncos in the ABA area.
Yeah, and I should point out I did say that Juncos have pink bills. Gavin correctly gets me. Not all
Yes.
dark-eyed Juncos have all pink bills. Some of them have kind of grayish bills. I should have said pale bill because I think that's a little
Yes.
more accurate. It is a light-colored bill that's lighter than the rest of the face. Although
Or in
redback
couple of-
right there is very dark.
Bicolored, actually.
Yeah, for the most part, that's the case. And in Little Rock, Arkansas, I would expect the Junco, the common Junco that would be there would be the slate colored. It's pretty much
Absolutely.
all over the eastern, I don't know, 2/3 of the continent for the most part. It's where the
Well,
Great Plains hits that things get interesting. So which we're going to talk about. What would be
Well,
what would constitute
slate.
an unusual Junco in Arkansas?
Well, anything but a slate colored.
Anything but a slate.
Slate colored is really found pretty much across the entire ABA area, with the exception of tundra in northeast Canada. But it's pretty much been recorded everywhere from Alaska to California to Florida to Newfoundland. That is the standard Junco in the ABA area.
Yeah, he mentions Carolina slate colored, which I should have known because I look for those down here. They're the ones that breed in the Appalachians, the southern
Yeah.
Appalachians.
And there are all kinds of little. There's slate colored juncos that nest in the mountains in the mid Atlantic. There's slate colored juncos that nest in the mountains in places like southeast Ohio. And then, of course, the taiga breeding birds that go everywhere from the Great Lakes, upper Great Lakes, all the way up to Alaska. On the West Coast, really in the West,
things are
not
way
so
up.
much the
It's
West
weird.
Coast, but in the West, we have the Oregon subspecies. And that bird, when it's an adult, is pretty darn distinctive. It's pretty bright, um, kind of rufusy brown. It's got a very dark hood, um, and the female and young birds, they can be a little streaked, but they're the pattern is there, and it's pretty easy to tell. The flanks are nice and kind of rich brown in varying shades. And But yeah, those birds are found. They straggle across the east, across the Great Plains, and into the east. Um, most notice, Most noticeably absent from the southeast. But that is kind of the default junco in the west and the Rocky Mountains, up to the Great Plains. Now, going down across the bottom, we have pink-sided,
Those
gray-headed.
are southwestern juncos.
Well, they are. Pink-sided actually is found in smaller numbers, I believe. Somebody who spends more time birding in the Rockies than I do might be able to correct me here, and I'll bet Rick Wright would be able to, because boy, am I in his wheelhouse right now. Um,
We're gonna get him to
um,
call in.
but pink-sided, is found from like New Mexico, Arizona, Southern California, but eastern Southern California, up through the northern Rockies in the United States and southern Canada. So like in Idaho, Montana, and so on. Gray-headed is, and yes, I am looking at range maps, because Mr. Dyslexia here needs to remember things, because I get them backwards. Gray-headed is found kind of in the same areas, but further to the south. So it really doesn't get north of southern Colorado, Utah, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. Um, Redbacked is even more constricted to New Mexico and Arizona,
Mm.
and it is kind of the most distinct of all of them, with that white throat, the bicolored bill, which is blackish on top and paler on the bottom, a very well defined bright rufous back, and it tends to be the shade of gray tends to be a little bit cooler, but that whitish throat really gives it a very different look uh, than gray-headed. Then a skip over to white-winged. White-winged has the smallest range of all of the subspecies in the ABA area, basically found in the Black Hills and adjacent areas, in the Dakotas, and winters in the adjacent Rockies. And there's very few places where you see white-winged juncos in the ABA area, and they're all in a pretty. You could almost call this kind of an endemic, along with red-backed. But it is not a species, except for one of these birds. They're all the same species at the moment. Uh,
At the moment.
yeah, Cismontanus. That's kind of the. I'm not sure anybody knows exactly what that is.
You could say that about a lot of these, and I think it's
Yeah.
important to point out that not only are all these reasonably distinctly named subspecies of dark-eyed junco, but there's a lot of interbreeding between these
Yes.
birds that happens, and then you get all sorts of weird birds, like perhaps our mystery bird here.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that it's a hybrid. It doesn't look very hybridy or anything like that to me.
You think
Um,
it's an Oregon, like a straight-ahead Oregon, just a paler one?
the mystery bird?
Yeah,
No, I think it's a slate colored.
is it?
I think it's
All right.
I think it's a young slate colored. I'm happy to be proven wrong on that, but I think it's
I don't know.
I think it's a first year slate colored. It
It
just
looks
doesn't.
weird.
It,
Can we
it,
go
it
back to it?
does. It does. Sure.
It looks odd to me, just slightly off.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I mean, maybe it is. I'd buy it. But yeah, I don't know. Anything goes
It's
with
just
Junkos. So
I see. I mean, I just the way I see the brown bleeding up into the hood, and I see the
Hmm.
gray bleeding down into the back, uh, and the way the hood is not very well defined. It just
do you know
doesn't.
where when this photo was taken
Recently,
recently?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think like if it, I would buy straight ahead dark eyed if it were like I don't know, like a September bird where it's kind of a juvenile coming into plumage. Because I've seen birds like that in the Appalachians,
Yeah.
because that's where we have our breeding birds. But yeah, I don't know.
But
I don't know.
and I will say this plumage is the hardest to distinguish when
Yeah,
you've got this kind of first year, possibly possibly female. It doesn't look like it though.
yeah.
I'm guessing this bird is a male by how rich the dark
The
the
hood.
gray
Yeah,
color is.
yeah. I agree with that.
But I've seen some very very brown
Ooh,
juncos.
we have a comment from Mr. Rick Wright.
Oh yeah, what's he saying?
He says it looks like an Oregon.
Does he? Okay.
To the yeah, to but to the extent that anything that far east could be anything other than an intergrade, it feels integrated to me. But I don't know.
I mean, I personally would say I would say intergrade over like straight Oregon. Again, just
Yeah,
because of the way
yeah, I would
the
agree with that.
colors are bleeding back and forth at this time of
Yeah.
year. Um, but
So Athena is the genus asked, what is an intergrade? So a hybrid is a cross between, two species, two full species. An intergrade, I don't know. These are words that we kind of apply, and I don't know if
yeah,
they may have well-defined meanings. I'm not sure, but I interpret intergrade as being a cross between two subspecies, two named subspecies. So it's not like you can't call it a hybrid because it's not a hybrid, but it's like salmon colored flickers. I think of those as intergrades between yellow shaft and red shaft.
yeah, and the yellow rump warblers.
Yeah, exactly.
And Michael Sanders says it sure looks like a lot like my local Juncos, and he is in the Willamette Valley.
There you
So
go.
that's another poke in favor of Oregon.
John Anderson says he wouldn't
But
even think of a different subspecies on that bird, so he thinks it's Oregon as well.
all right,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a weirdo. Like it's a bird that would catch my eye if I saw it anywhere where I
it
expected
is.
slate colors.
It is, and now you're making me want to go back through a bunch of my pictures of
Yeah, let's go look at some Juncos.
because
Greg.
I see
There's a
I
Facebook
mean,
group just for Juncos.
I
by the
have
way.
there is a Facebook group just for Juncos. It's pretty cool. But yeah, all right. So it seems people are leaning Oregon or integrate on this bird.
Willamette.
I kind of yeah.
Willamette.
Oh,
Junco.
all right.
Yep.
And then just to wrap that up
So,
in the upper
yeah.
in
Go
the
ahead,
upper
go ahead.
right there, in the upper right there, I included the other species of junco that we have in the ABA area, which is the yellow-eyed junco, which looks kind of like gray-headed, has a very noticeably bicolored bill, and a bright yellow eye and a black
They look
mask.
evil. They look evil.
They do. When you were in Costa Rica, did you see Volcano junco?
No, I didn't. You have to go up pretty high for that one.
Yeah, I got that up on the top of Volcan Barva, and they're you want to talk about an evil looking bird.
It's because it lives in Mordor.
Yeah.
SFR Songs asks, "Are you hinting that the species may be split in the future?" Yes, no,
I don't think so.
maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think that if they would have split the Juncos, they would have. But if they were going to, I would expect only like something like red-backed to get its own species. I wouldn't expect
See-
Oregon and slate colored to be split.
Now, when we get to ID discussion like this, especially when it comes to subspecies, this is an interesting take here because Michael and Mia both said if I saw that bird in said the same thing in different ways, but Mia said if I saw that bird in Utah, I'd call it Oregon. However, when it's out of range,
Yeah.
that like really it doesn't carry as much weight when a bird is out of range. And I say that speaking in terms of like a records committee. And I realize most records committees don't really do anything with subspecies.
Some of
But
yeah, I can't recall the last time we did in North Carolina.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it brings up an interesting question: to what extent does a likelihood play a role in your identification of a bird like this? Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have a lot of pictures of juncos around the Chicago area that look like the mystery bird,
Hmm.
um, and
Well, yeah,
it's
you're
it's
further
it's in the
west.
middle.
Makes sense.
It's in the
Yeah.
middle of a sliding scale. It's in the
Yeah,
middle of
that's
a
exactly
sliding
right. Yeah,
scale
I
because
think that's accurate.
because slate coloreds can look like that, and Oregons do look like that. So it's kind, and then there's intergrades, so it's kind of like in the middle. All right, let's get on to the next bird.
A lot of good Oregon, a lot of
And
good discussion, Junko discussion in the YouTube
oh,
comments. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Juncos always generate a lot of discussion. They're cool birds. It's a cool species. It's a cool group of birds.
We West
Um,
Coast birders get all the cool
and they
Junkos, and all the cool red-tailed hawks. We are kind of
yeah
boring here in the east, and as far as
yeah. Well,
that's
I
how it
mean,
goes. We do look for those Carolina slate-colored Junkos with their gray bills instead of the pink bills.
we do.
That's all we
Okay.
got. That's all we got.
So we are gonna go out west here to Washington, and we have a swimming bird. Um, and it's got a long neck, it's got a long bill, it's got a long body.
Mm-hmm.
I think you put all of those things together, you're talking about a cormorant or a
Mm-hmm.
loon, um, maybe
Or a merganser.
or a merganser. I could see somebody thinking this is a merganser.
Yeah.
Um, the
Of the ducks, it's the most
yeah,
loony
yeah. I
cormorant
mean,
duck.
this bird doesn't have any color on it.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
our
Exactly.
male mergansers, this would definitely not be a male merganser.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Female mergansers have gray backs and rufous heads,
Yeah.
and
They would even have a little bit of pattern on them too.
and they would on the back and everything. I mean, this bird is just pretty evenly grayish.
Agree.
A little bit of white in the face. It doesn't have much of a strong pattern. So we can rule out things like Western or Clark's grebe,
Yep.
redneck grebe,
grebe.
horned grebe. And grebes don't have such long bodies.
No.
They're very compact. They almost look like a softball with a neck popping out of it when they're swimming around.
Yeah.
They've really
Goofy.
and little fluffy tails. Actually, no tail, just fluffy butts.
No tail on this
So I-
guy either.
So I think we're talking about a loon here.
I agree. We have some questions about cormorant in this discussion, which is a fair one as well. But some
Sure.
things that don't say cormorant to me seems more gray than black. It does look like it's got a little bit of white in the face. I guess there are some cormorants that are like that, but it's the bill that really stands out as not cormorant to me. This
Yes.
is a relatively long, straight, pointy bill. A cormorant has all the cormorants have kind of a hooked bill at the tip. And even in a poor photo like that, it will generally look kind of more substantial all the way to the tip than this one, which kind of almost disappears into the water in the background there. So yeah, it doesn't feel cormorant to me. Cormorants also seem to have maybe a longer neck on that sort of body as well, so it doesn't feel cormoranty.
Kind of have snakier necks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so I wanted to use this opportunity to discuss the loons that we see in the ABA area, and here they are.
We got a lot of
And
loons, not just in the
will-
ABA area. We have these are loons found all across the northern hemisphere. Good old
Yeah,
loons.
but and there's one missing, and we'll get to that.
Which one is missing?
But
Arctic. Yeah, super rare.
exactly.
Well, at least in North America.
Yeah. So going back to this bird, we can see that it kind of has a thinnish bill. It definitely doesn't have a decurved end the way that you might see on a cormorant. It's not very stout. It's kind of straightish. You can't really
Looks
tell.
almost looks like it's pointing upwards.
It's upwards, but the
bit.
bird's
Real
head is
thin,
also
real
tilted.
skinny.
The bird's
Yeah.
head is also tilted upwards. So, looking at our loons, kind of start with the most common, which is the common loon at the lower left. And common loon is a big bird.
It's
I have
chunky,
had
sure.
opportunity to hold common loons in my two arms, and they are big, hefty. kind of dangerous because they
Got
use
a
that bill.
steak knife on the front of its face.
They use that bill as a weapon if they don't like what
Yeah.
you're doing. Um, but they're big, chunky, thick-headed birds.
Thick-headed,
But pay
block-headed.
attention.
Yep.
Pay attention to the pattern on the face and the neck. It's got some white that goes up around the eye and up into the cheek. And then the dark coming down the side of the neck is kind of broken up and choppy.
Yeah, it thins at one point. It's almost got like a C, like a backwards C, or a
Exactly.
D of white on the side, like a scallop of white kind of taken out of that black. That's pretty typical of common loons, at least this time of year. And I saw a bunch of them last week when I was out on the coast. A lot of loons moving through the eastern seaboard these days.
And the conundrum then becomes, at least for the bird in question, and again we're going to go back to it real quickly because it doesn't have a common loon bill.
No,
it's
all
got a
kind of
thinner
gray
bill, and it's
Yeah,
all
even
kind
though
of
the
gray.
bird is faced away a little bit of
Yeah.
us. Yeah, I agree.
So that kind of brings us to Pacific or red-throated, and out there in Washington you have both, and both are, I think, equally as common. I think maybe Pacific may actually be a little more common this time of year.
Thumbprint. Thank you. Andy.
And if you read the field guides, the first thing you'll notice for a winter plumage red-throated loon is that it has a bright white face and a bright white neck, and it's variable, but it's like the first thing you see when you see a red-throated loon in the water is that the bird is very pale and the face is bright white, and
Most
the
of
eye,
the time. Yeah.
yeah, well, most of the time. The eye is kind of isolated in the white, and this bird shows that the least. I mean, some of them can really look almost like a Clark's grebe with the way that the white face and the white neck, and the thin bill and the thin neck, as we see. Red-throated loon has an upturned bill, but it's very thin, and the bird tends to hold its head.
Yep.
Tends to hold its head up and exaggerate that upturned bill. Pacific loon.
Does.
Pacific loon can be equally as gray, but that the neck tends to be thicker. The dark feathering that starts in the lores and goes down around the face and down the neck is usually very well defined, and on the neck
it's like
itself.
a hood. Yeah.
On the neck itself is very, very well defined without all the choppiness that you see in common loon.
Yes.
The bill size is kind of in between.
In between. Yep.
Red-throated and common, and the size is kind of in between as well. Red-throated tends to be a smaller, slimmer bird, definitely smaller than common loon, and a little bit slighter in build than Pacific loon. Where it gets kind of interesting, and we've had this happen in the Great Lakes, where red-throated loon is a good bird and Pacific loon is a really, really good bird, where the middle bird on the right is a young red-throated loon, and you'll notice that the face is not as bright white, and the neck is kind of muddy, and it's kind of all
back
over.
is kind of muddy too. Like
Everything
an
is
adult
kind
red-throated
of
loon
muddy.
has that kind of spangly back that's quite distinctive if you get a good look at them. Young red-throated loons have none of that. They are just all kind of dingy gray. Yeah.
Exactly. And so the young red-throated loon can be really confusing. I know of a couple here in Chicago that got people out chasing because we thought it was a Pacific, and when we finally got better looks at it, it turned into a red-throated. And one thing that I've also noticed is that those first-year birds, the bill isn't as noticeably upturned, and it just doesn't strike you as a red-throated loon when you're watching it. After a while it does, but it sort of forms in your brain. Pacific loon, an adult bird, and the young birds to a lesser degree have a well-defined chin strap, and you can see that on the bird on the upper left.
Most of the time you can see that.
Yeah. I mean, if the bird is fairly close and swimming around and diving and coming up, you can see it. But it doesn't have that sort of that big bold white cheek that a common loon has, and nothing like the big bold white face of an adult red-throated loon.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah, they have a
think
different kind of head shape too, for the most part too. Pacific loon is
they
it's
do.
very rounded and almost like plush,
The
whereas a
back of the
common
neck
loon
is
is very
very
block.
plush.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty distinctive if you get a decent look. Of course, with the caveat that these birds are frequently diving quite a bit. If you see them, especially on the ocean, you can lose them in the swells. That's quite
Yeah,
common. So it's it's not cut hard and fast rule, but it is something to kind of keep an eye out for. Um, yeah, because we look for Pacific loons here in the southeast pretty regularly. Common loon, very common. Red-throated loon, very common. There were so many red-throated loons out offshore when I was there last week. Flying by, sitting on the water, just got a lot of really good looks at red-throated loon. We're always looking for Pacific loon. Usually, two or three of them show up every year, but they're pretty scarce. And of course, it's a bird that can be very hard to chase because it is the ocean, and the ocean is very big, and birds can kind of
yeah.
disappear on it very easily. Same with you in the lake, I'm sure. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And
but
one thing
yeah,
and one
when
thing
I'm
I
looking for them,
noticed.
I'm looking for that dark cowl, the back of the neck, and the kind of the rounder head. That's the things that I'm very much looking for when I'm trying to find a Pacific loon in a group of well, a group, um, in a when I'm seeing a bunch of red throateds.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean you're in the land of wintering red-throateds where you are.
A lot of
Uh,
wintering red throateds.
and another thing that I've noticed
They
about
fly weird too.
loons is that they they swim migrate as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, that's
And
true.
like they'll just keep along the lakeshore and on Lake Michigan, they will just keep swimming to the south in October and
Yeah,
November,
just drift
when
southward. Yeah,
they just keep going and keep
yep,
going. And when
yep.
you're chasing a rare loon, you have to keep driving down the lakeshore during the course of the
Yeah.
day because the bird just keeps going further south and south and south,
Yeah, sometimes they'll sit tight at like
for a
jetties and
while.
stuff for a
Yeah.
little while, but maybe a day, maybe two.
So going back to our mystery bird, I think it's pretty safe to call this bird a young red-throated loon.
I would agree with
Um,
you, Greg.
yeah. And then lastly, yellow-billed loon. Um, Yellow-billed loon is a monster. It is bigger than common
Big
loon.
and
It has a
pale. Yeah.
bigger bill. It's kind of a pale, buffy color, and the back pattern can vary, but it very often shows a lot of fringing on the
Hmm.
scapulars and well, the whole mantle really. Um, but if you get any kind of a decent look at a yellow-throated loon, you'll know it. It's a pretty distinct bird,
Pretty,
and they show up. It's an Arctic
it's pretty
species
random. Yeah.
that's common nowhere in the ABA area outside of Alaska.
Well,
Uh,
actually, the Salish Sea area, like Washington and Vancouver Island, that sort of area has a weirdly high concentration of yellow-billed loons. Like, there's a ton of records there. That's like the only place where they're reliable, though. And I wouldn't say
yes,
they're
and
common. I just say they're reliable.
they're but they also show up in strange places.
Yes, that's another thing they do. Yeah.
They show up in reservoirs and like turning basins on rivers and things.
Yeah.
Um, and there was a pretty famous one a couple of years ago. I think it was a year or two ago, of a yellow-billed loon that found its way into the fountain in front
That's
of the
right, at the
Bellagio
Bellagio.
in Las Vegas.
That's wild.
And it
Yeah.
had to be rescued because loons
Wasn't big enough.
they need a big runway to get off the water.
Yeah.
And
Like a jumbo
this
jet.
bird couldn't get enough runway to get out of the fountain, so they had to go in there and rescue it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they show
Yeah.
up in some pretty strange places.
Yeah, my very first yellow-billed loon was a regular bird that showed up for several years at a reservoir in southwest Missouri. It was hard to find. It would move around a lot. It was a very big reservoir, but you knew it was there. It was pretty reliable.
Yeah. And I also did not include Arctic loon, which used to be
That's super
considered
scarce.
a subspecies of Pacific loon a while back, quite a while back. But it's really not found anywhere outside of Alaska. And in Alaska, really only places like Adak and Gamble and Nome. There are a few records on the West Coast and a few others scattered
Yeah, that's a
about,
tough ID
but
too.
it's a very rare bird and it's a tough ID. So I didn't include that one, but it looks most like a Pacific loon with a bill something approaching a common loon,
Yep,
sort
agreed.
of in between there. Well, despite all the gremlins and glitches,
We did it.
we did it.
Yeah, we give you a little extra,
Again,
although we did come 10 minutes late.
I am sorry about that, and I apologize for all the glitches. Whatever was happening today, a bunch of software needed to be updated, and other garbage flew at us. But we got it. We got it done. And thank you all for joining us. And if you like this program and you like the ABA podcast and you like everything we do, and if you want to you want to get more stuff, hit aba.org/join and join the club. We would love to have you.
Absolutely.
And
if you even if you're not a member, consider signing up for our newsletter, Flight Calls. It comes out once a week. We don't try to overwhelm you with stuff, but it will give you a heads up when these episodes come out. We should be back to our regular bi-weekly routine. Fingers crossed. Going forward here. Probably back in a couple weeks, and you'll be able to know if you'll get a reminder, or you can like and subscribe to the ABA on YouTube and Facebook. Thanks again to everybody. Happy New Year.
Thanks again.
Happy year of the corned lark.
Yes. And go Bears. Bye.
Bye, Bears. Go Panthers.